In this video, I'm going to teach you really simply 3 bunker shots that you absolutely need to learn. This first one, I call it level 1. So level 1, who's this for? Well, this is for that golfer who, when they find their ball in the sand, they just go, I just want to get it out. If I can get it out onto the green, I would be over the moon. That's going to be beneficial to their score. So we want to keep this really, really simple. And we only want to really introduce things here which are going to help us basically get that ball out. This is going to be the simplest bunker shot technique that you can ever learn. It's all to do with setup and concept. That's it. So there is going to be no opening of the club face. We're not going to be adding loft. We're not going to be exposing the bounce. You're going to take your normal grip with the club face nice and square. Now I'm using a 56 degree wedge and I've got 14 degrees of bounce. That really does help me. If you can get a wedge that's got bounce in double figures, 10, 12, 14, that's really going to help. So my 56 and 14 really, really helps me. So normal grip, not going to open the face, just feels like normal. Then we need to consider stance and where the ball is relative to that stance. I want to have that ball forwards towards my lead foot, and I reckon that is probably the width of a club head inside my lead foot. So it's certainly forward of centre. I've got a decently wide stance, it's certainly not narrow. I'm trying to get my feet, probably the same distance apart as it would be for a mid to long iron. And I'm going to get those feet set in, okay? The sand is loose, it moves. We want to give ourselves a nice solid base so that when we do swing, we're not kind of spinning and moving all over the place. So nice solid base. And then using my knees and my hips, I'm going to try and put some more weight into my lead side, okay? The reason I say that is because we don't want that to be done simply by leaning this way where the head goes forward and throws the kind of body angles off. So if you notice, I'm going to go knees, hips, and just push those forwards a little bit this way. Kind of feels like I'm squeezing the pressure under my left foot and my head has stayed pretty central. From here, that's pretty much my setup done. Alignment, pretty square. Okay, I'm not aiming left, I'm not trying to cut across the ball, I'm aiming pretty much at the flag that you can see on the green. That's my setup. Really, really simple. Now we need to think about a little bit of concept. What are you trying to do? So let's have a little look down by the golf ball. What I'm trying to do here, for me to get this ball out, is very simply, I'm trying to take the sand that's around the ball, and you can see how much I've kind of highlighted there. I'm trying to take that sand and put it onto the green. There are no thoughts here about the golf ball and what the golf ball should be doing. I'm very simply trying to put that sand onto the green. And the reason I like that as an idea is because it kind of helps you with the direction of swing, okay? We want to hit the sand. We want to hit the sand before the ball. But we want that sand to go, as I said, on the green. So we don't want you to stand there and feel like you're hitting into the sand. That has sort of connotations of downwards and this direction. We're trying to put that sand onto the green. So you're more likely to be rotating out. You're more likely to be putting the speed in this direction. And trust me, if that sand comes out the bunker onto the green, the ball will do the same. So it's really simple. Simple setup, normal grip, bit of weight forwards, and from here, all I'm thinking about is, can I take that sand and splash it onto the green? So you've watched that and you're thinking, Chris, I can do that. I can get in the bunker, I can get every time. I'm really confident for the bunkers. You're going to be on to level 2. You saw the shot we hit there. It was out, it was on the green. But if there's any kind of lip on the bunker, or if the flag is a little bit closer, maybe it doesn't work. So if we want to be looking at increasing height, maybe adding a little bit of spin, starting to get the ball to drop a little bit more vertically, and being able to play from a variety of different situations, we maybe need to adapt that technique. So this brings us on to level 2. Level 2, we want to now start to increase the amount of loft that's on the golf club. The way we do that is we take the golf club, we rotate the club shaft, so the toe moves away from the target, we then place our hands on the golf club. Now, how much you open the club face, I can't really tell you. It depends on how high the lip is or where the flag is, how much height you need. So it's not a position, it's a spectrum. You could open it a little bit, you could open it a lot. In my experience, when golfers are in the bunkers, they don't tend to open the club face enough. I kind of see it, a few degrees. Let's crank it open. Let's get it really open. You can see it's probably 45 degrees open, and then I can take my hand on the golf club. So my grip feels normal, but as I look down, the club face is open. Now, that ball will not go way out to the right. This is a big myth that I see all the time. I've given golf lessons to people in the bunker and they're saying to me, I'm opening the face and then I'm turning my body so that the leading edge now points back towards the flag. I get it, the theory makes sense, but it's not accurate. Think about this, if I've got this club face open and I juggle a ball which is hitting the sweet spot of the golf club, where is that ball going? It is not going to the right. When the club face is that open, the loft of the club just points up. If you thin it, absolutely that ball's going to shoot out off to the right, but with any luck, you're not going to do that. Plus, the golf club never actually makes contact with the ball. It's the sand and the direction of your swing which will control the direction the ball goes. Once we've got that face open, from the front on view, our setup can be the same. We can have that ball forward, we can have the feet set in, we can have our weight onto our lead side, so nothing really changes there. As we've opened that club face, to make sure that ball doesn't head out to the right, one thing that we do want to do is push the handle a little bit closer to the ground. Now, in many cases, that might mean you standing a little bit further from the ball. It might mean that you're pushing your pelvis a little bit lower, just getting a little bit more knee flex in there, ultimately just getting yourself a little closer to the ground so that the handle gets closer to the ground. As a general rule, when you open the face, you need to lower the handle as well to kind of offset where that club face is pointing. So our setup is quite similar, apart from the fact we've got handle lower and there's more loft on the golf club. Now we want to think a little bit about the swing. We want the same concept in that the sand is coming on the green, but I want you to think now a little bit more about how you release the club. Imagine that on my now dirty wedge, imagine there's a face here. Well, there is, it's the club face. So imagine on that wedge, there's a smiley face, okay? At setup, that points directly up. As you make a backswing, the face points at my face. And as I release the club through the golf ball, again, the face points back at my face. What that's telling me is that I'm maintaining the loft that's on the golf club, because we can set the face open and then we can twist it so you can see that the kind of loft or that face points down towards the ground, or we can release it on the way through like this where the face points down. All of those movements are going to be pushing the leading edge down, taking the loft off, making it more difficult for you to play that bunker shot. So we want to be going face up, face to face, face to face. And through impact, I'm going to be using my trail hand a lot, okay? I want to be really feeling that club face overtakes my hands. No shaft lean. Shaft lean in a bunker is absolutely going to destroy your bunker game. You're going to start shanking it, you're going to start struggling with contact. We need that club shaft to be vertical at impact. And the only way you can do that is by using your trail hand to really throw the club, what you feel is almost past your hands under the ball, and get that face pointing back to you. The final thing, alignment, still square. We spoke a moment ago about why we don't open the stance. If I swing the club towards my flag, I release the club correctly, the ball will head in that direction. I'm hopefully now going to show you that. So, handle is a little lower, weight is forward, I'm going to release the face, and we're on to level 3. Now, the shot we just hit gives you height, gives you spin, but because you're taking your 56 and you're opening the face and you're lowering the handle, it doesn't really allow you to hit bunker shots that go more than about 15, 20, 25 yards. So what happens if you've got a longer bunker shot? Now you can see where the flag is here. That's not really a longer bunker shot. So we're going to sort of imagine that that flag is taken up and it's put right on the back of the green, almost kind of in line with that big tree that you can see. That's probably now getting on for sort of 35, 40 yards with a lot of green to work with. That shot we've just used, probably more difficult to get there. So how do you hit longer bunker shots? Now these are a little bit more tricky. The first thing is I'm going to change my wedge. 56, back in the bag, I'm now using a 50. This has got less bounce, it's got 9, becomes a little bit more difficult to use, but I need that lower loft to help me project that ball a little lower. So what are we looking for here? Well, we're looking for a lower ball flight with less spin that lands and kind of rolls, allows you to get back to those tricky flags. From that face on view, setup, not going to change. Okay, we've got that ball forward, weight forward, feet set in. Are we going to open the face? Well, a little bit. Okay, I want to open the face because I want to expose that bounce, but I don't want to open the face too much that I'm back to using 60 odd degrees aloft and getting that height. So I'm going to open it, maybe some 5 degrees. So I've got my similar setup, face is open by around about 5 degrees. Now from here, what do I want to do with the release? Well, I still want to feel like I'm releasing the golf club through, but I want to be marrying that up with a little bit more body turn. So for the higher shot, I'm almost feeling that the club gets released past my hands and past my body. For this longer bunker shot, yes, I'm still looking to release the club, but I'm looking to release it and actually follow that with my body. I'm looking for my right side to almost cover this shot and project the ball out there a little bit lower. That's how I'm going to get that forward momentum rather than the sort of upward momentum. I'm looking to enter the sand 2-3 inches behind the ball. The reality here is you don't have to be that precise. As long as you're entering it behind the ball and you're still committing to the shot, we should get a fairly decent result. This is a little bit more high risk, slightly harder shot to hit. The worry here is that you hit too much sand with less bounce on the club digs and the ball maybe only just comes out the bunker by 3 or 4 yards. So it is a little bit riskier. But if you can use a bit more speed, be a little bit more committed, use the body and almost feel like you're a little bit wider on the target side of the ball, we should get a lower ball flight that rolls a little bit more. Let's have a go. Let's say there's no flag up there, but we're visualising there is one. Set up, weight forward, ball forward, face a little open, release the club, follow it with my bodies. Okay, and you can see that ball much, much lower and rolling. Yeah, I was hoping to get it up that tier. You can see it didn't quite, but a very different ball flight, a lot more rollout, and that's going to help me get towards those back flags. So a slight tweak in technique, changing club. 3 bunker shots, you will use them almost in every round of golf you play, so learn all 3.